Yo, what's up everybody? Icy here and welcome to another NBA preseason video. This one is for October 14, 2019, Monday, 6-game slate. So, let's get right into it. Quick thing, I'm going to be going through each team's preseason stats, talking over who I like generally, and then letting you know who I'm playing by position on DraftKings at the end of the video. So feel free. Also, if you like anything I say, please like, comment, subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. I usually say it at the end, but I don't think a lot of people get to the end. So if you don't mind, just hit that subscribe button. It's a little click. It means a lot. I don't care about the notification bell, but just hit the subscribe button. Help me grow, man. Help me grow. I'm one of you. Help me grow. But yeah, Atlanta Hawks, man. Getting right into the Hawks. Trae Young, one of my favorite players on the slate. Good reason. Franchise player. Not much to say about him. He's going to be seeing more and more minutes, more volume, more run. John Collins coming off of a duddy performance. Look for him to pick it up here in the matchup. He's someone that's going to be heavily used throughout the season. He's up against Bam Adebayo. It's a little bit of a tougher matchup here, but John Collins can easily perform. Aside from John Collins, DeAndre Hunter is one of the top performers on the Atlanta Hawks this preseason, seeing 25 minutes in both games. He's performed really, really well, getting rebounds, assists, as well as double-digit points. DeAndre Hunter is someone the Atlanta Hawks will want to get integrated into their offense ASAP. He's a two-way player with a lot of upside, great knockdown shooter, great defender. The Atlanta Hawks feel like they have an outsider's chance of making the East playoffs this run. So this is a great spot for them to challenge another fellow playoff contender in the Heat and see where they're at. They're going to want DeAndre Hunter to integrate himself into this team as soon as possible so they have the best chance of accomplishing that goal. Another person I'm looking at is DeAndre Bembry. DeAndre Bembry's seen an increase in minutes here compared to his games last year. He's been given the ball a lot in these two preseason games. They really want to see his ability to play, make, and handle the ball. He's probably going to be acting as the prime or secondary guard behind Trae Young. And he's probably going to be on the court with Trae Young at times too. But more often than not, he's going to be the secondary ball handler on the Atlanta Hawks team. And he's someone that I would highly consider taking a look at in GPPs per se. So Trae Young, John Collins, DeAndre Hunter, and DeAndre Bembry. These guys are the guys in play for me. And then Jabari Parker is a GPP play for me. DeAndre Hunter and Bembry are also GPP plays for me. But Jabari Parker is a lower-owned GPP play for me. In the limited minutes he gets here, he can perform and he can go off. His price should be really good, and I like him at that price. So he's someone I'll be considering. On the Miami Heat side, Bam Adebayo is my lock. Bam Bam's been doing really, really well so far to start the season. He's someone that should continue to see more and more run. I expect them to see more minutes here as the season winds down. The matchup should be good here. Atlanta Hawks are a somewhat playoff team, and Bam Bam should see a lot more than the 16 minutes he saw in the second game. I'm expecting closer to 23 to 26 for Bam. Aside from that, Jimmy Butler would be in play here. Jimmy Butler had a really bad first quarter of the previous game. His stats should have been much better. Basically, all of these things he did was in the second quarter. First quarter was atrocious. So Jimmy Butler would be in play for me. Myers Leonard and Justice Winslow are two other guys that should be starters on this team. That should be seeing a decent amount of minutes. Myers Leonard is someone that could go out there and perform. He does a little bit of everything. He can shoot threes as well. So he's someone that the Heat will really want to get going before the season starts to give them the best chance of making the playoffs and winning games. And then Justice Winslow, man. Justice Winslow. He wins slow, he wins low. I don't know, but I like Justice Winslow. Justice Winslow didn't play last game. He's one of the key pieces of the Miami Heat's offense this upcoming season. Look for him to get 24, 25 minutes this game against this Atlanta Hawks team that plays at a very, very fast pace with a lot of turnovers. With Trae Young, he's going to get at least 9 turnovers himself. So a lot more chances for Justice Winslow and Jimmy Butler here to get some steals and just put up some more points on the board in general. So Justice Winslow is someone I really like. Aside from Justice Winslow, two GPP considerations I have here, low option, or low price, or Kendrick Nunn, which would be low owned. However, I don't see Kendrick Nunn getting this much minutes. Justice Winslow and Jimmy Butler should be playing, so his minutes should be hella reduced. And Tyler Hero's minutes should also be hella reduced. Not hella reduced, but the opportunity for his upside should be hella reduced, I should say. Sorry. The opportunity for his upside should be reduced. He's still going to see around this many minutes because he was their top draft pick and someone that they're going to want to really get going as well. So, Tyler Hero's in play for me. I'm not too high on him today for some reason. Although the matchup with the Atlanta Hawks, I could see presenting an opportunity where Trae Young and him go shot for shot in a 3-point contest. I'm just fantasizing here, but if that happens, that'd be great. The Charlotte Hornets are a mess. They have too many players here in the forward and shooting guard positions that are all somewhat viable. You got Bridges, you got Bacon, you got PJ Washington, you got Malik Monk, you got Marvin Williams. All these guys are guys that can go off if they're giving minutes and chances. They've all been doing well. 10 rebounds, 1 assist, 12 points, 23 minutes. 3 rebounds, 2 assists, 10 points, 23 minutes. So, all these guys can do well. My favorite play here would probably be PJ Washington, who's seen an increase in minutes, who was in the starting lineup instead of Nicholas Batum last game. If Batum is not playing again, then I like PJ Washington a lot. He's my favorite play on the Charlotte Hornets side. Aside from that, man, you could go with Dwayne Bacon. You go with Miles Bridges. You go with Terry Rozier. This Memphis team is not as grit and grind as previous teams, so the matchup is not that horrendous. The pace and tempo should still be great. Memphis is a pretty young team now. And PJ Washington, Dwayne Bacon, Miles Bridges are guys I like, but Terry Rozier and Cody Zeller are also guys I like. These guys should be seeing a good amount of minutes here. It's almost the end of the preseason for them, and their minutes should be increasing on a daily basis from here on out. So I like playing the starters here a lot. I wouldn't mind stacking 3 or 4 guys from this team. Not 4, but 3 guys I wouldn't mind stacking from this team. It just depends which 3. So PJ Washington, Miles Bridges, Dwayne Bacon, Terry Rozier are the top guys for me. Cody Zeller is a very productive, hard-working player. He goes out there and does what the coaches want him to do. He's someone that could win the coach's favor very easily and see a little bit of extra minutes. But yeah, Devontae Graham's another guy to look at. He's performed decent in 2 of the games and did really well in 1 of the games. He's a productive guy in the limited minutes. If for some reason someone's out and he's starting, he's someone I would be higher on. The Memphis Grizzlies. Ja Morant, I'm playing. I like Ja Morant. He fills up the stat boards. Points, rebounds, assists. He does it all. He's taking a decent amount of shots right now, but he's still low on the pecking order. He's still the new guy, and there's still some guys above him that are taking more shots. But Ja Morant, 100% is in play for me. My favorite play on the Memphis Grizzlies is Jaren Jackson. He's their go-to guy. He's the real scoring threat option here. Last year, he performed well on a consistent enough basis where I noticed him and I had him in my fantasy league. So he's someone I like and someone I could see doing really well, especially in this preseason game tomorrow against the Hornets. He should be really good. So you see, he's someone I'll have in almost a lot of I'll have him in 85-90% of my lineups tomorrow. Jaren Jackson. I just like his upside, his double, his shooting volume. He takes a lot of shots. So he's someone I like. And then Dylan Brooks, another guy I like. He takes a lot of shots. 13 shots one game, 10 shots the other game. So he's someone that's not scared to shoot it, even if he's missing. He keeps taking shot, and he's gonna hit eventually. He's not a 33% shooter, 40. He's not a 15% shooter. He's closer to a 40% shooter. So I expect if he takes the same amount of volume, that the opportunities for points increases. So I'm also high on Dylan Brooks here. But aside from Dylan Brooks, Bruno Caboclo and Grayson Allen are the 2 guys are my sneaky GPP plays. Both of these guys could go off in the limited minutes they're going to see. Bruno Caboclo is going to see around 23 minutes. I don't see him seeing 28 minutes here. This was a preseason game in an overseas atmosphere. I don't think Bruno Caboclo sees this many minutes. There is an injury scare with this guy. However, the Memphis Grizzlies have used him more than the Toronto Raptors ever did, and they actually give him first-team runs here. So Bruno Caboclo's shown he's a fan favorite. people are really high on this guy because this guy can just go out there and just dominate the game. Like, just literally dominate the game. He can guard every position. He's a very strong guy. It's just his footwork at times a little leaves some things to desire here. A very dominant player, can easily break the slate. Last year, towards the end of the season, Bruno Caboclo was one of the key guys breaking the slate on a nightly basis. He was very underpriced for the amount of minutes he was getting and the production he was performing. So I really like Bruno Caboclo. Yeah, he's not going to see this many minutes, but even in 23 minutes, he should be able to do well and do some damage. Grayson Allen is another guy that in limited minutes should be able to do some damage. He just takes a lot of shots, and I like people that take shots. He took 14 shots to one game. He took 10 shots the next game, and he's a very efficient shooter. He's a good shooter. So I like the opportunity upside here with Grayson Allen and GPPs as well. And then another guy I'll mention here on this team just for the sake of it, because I have to. I got to give this guy his due respects, is my man Jay Crowder. He's coming from the Utah Jazz, joining this Memphis Grizzlies team, who really have no hopes of making the playoffs. But Jay Crowder is a very competitive, feisty guy. He's an in-your-face type of defender. And he's also a good shooter. He goes out there and does his job, gets rebounds, scores the basket. Not scared to shoot the ball. So he's someone I like and someone else I'd consider. But my favorite player here would be Jaren Jackson, followed by John Morant and Dillon Brooks. On the OKC side, Shai Gilgeous is in play for me 100%. Chris Paul is out. Shai Gilgeous is the go-to guy. Shai Gilgeous is a very confident guy, man. For a young guy, this guy is competing with Chris Paul. He's boasting, he's gloating, he's chirping, he's trolling Chris Paul. This young kid is doing all that to Chris Paul. I really like his upside. He's someone the Thunder are very, very high on, and as they should. He is their future as of this moment. Chris Paul should be gone. Gallinari is injury prone. Steven Adams is Steven Adams. And Dennis Schroeder, I don't know how long he's going to stay here, but for now he's here. But this team is going to be built around Shai Gilgeous. All those draft picks that they accumulated from Houston and Clippers are going to go towards building a team around Shai Gilgeous. And his cousin, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, has shown that the Alexanders can ball, man. So I'm all in on Shai Gilgeous tonight. I really like him. I like the opportunity here. I like the upside. I like the amount of shots he's going to be taking. He's someone I'm very high on. We don't know if Gallinari is playing yet, but if he is, he's also someone I'd consider. And Steven Adams is the other guy that I'm safe going with here in the OKC game. So these three guys I'm really good with. All these other guys I'm not too hot on or keen about, to be quite honest with you, including Dennis Schroeder. There's other guys I'd go to. But if he plays and he's starting, then okay, yeah, he's in play too. But for me, not all that much. On the Dallas side, Kristaps Porzingis and Luka Doncic are in play. Not much to discuss or talk about. Kristaps has been seeing less minutes, but increasing steadily. Luka just goes out there and does Luka things. I expect his minutes to be similar to the first game. Now that the season's winding down and the season's about to start, they're going to want their first teamers to get a better run out there, more minutes. So look for the Dallas team to play their guys more minutes. I like Luka, I like Porzingis, I like Tim Hardaway. Aside from those guys, Boban is someone I'd consider in GPPs just because of his PPM, points per minute, upside, and his efficiency rating. He's one of the most efficient players in the league, so he just goes out there and gets it done. Aside from that, I'm not too high on anybody else. Yeah, not too high on anyone else. My favorite team to watch, Sacramento Kings so far this preseason. They've been my favorite team to watch. I love watching Marvin Bagley, Buddy Hield, De'Aaron Fox go out there and just ball. Expect the same thing to happen again today. They're going to go out there and ball. I don't know if all three of them does well. It seems like two of them usually does really, really well, and the other guy does okay. Last time around, it was Bagley and De'Aaron Fox, so I'm expecting Buddy Hield to be that guy this time around. So Buddy Hield, De'Aaron Fox, Marvin Bagley are in play for me for good reason. These guys, in the back of their minds, feel like they should be a playoff team. And hey, they could be. They were almost there last year. They just missed it. They had a great end to their season last year. They were on a real big upswing of wins. They were winning games left, right, and center. A lot of people actually thought that they were going to make it, but then the Clippers stole it from them. But yeah, Marvin Bagley, De'Aaron Fox, Buddy Hield, I like. And then Rashawn Holmes and Yogi Ferrell are two GPP plays I'd consider. Rashawn Holmes on the Phoenix Suns for me was one of their standout performers last year. He would play limited minutes but always perform on a consistent basis. I expect something similar for the Kings. Sorry, under the weather, man. I'm a little sick now. But Rashawn Holmes is someone that I could definitely see the Kings utilizing as their sixth man off the bench here. Great upside opportunity for this guy. Trying to make a name for himself in the league. No nonsense approach. Takes every game seriously. I love watching this guy play. Yogi Ferrell is another guy. Yogi Ferrell consistently would come off the bench throughout the seasons last year. He didn't play in the first two games, or he played in one game in India. Didn't play in the second game in India. But he's someone that's productive in the limited amount of minutes he gets. He's probably the backup guard for this team this year. Look for him to get ample opportunity here tonight. So he's a GPP play for me. He can get assists, rebounds, points, you name it. The Utah Jazz. So the Utah Jazz. Donovan Mitchell would be my go-to guy here on the Utah Jazz just because of the matchup. I'm really high on Donovan Mitchell, knowing that De'Aaron Fox is very competitive, was picked before him in the draft a couple years ago. And then Donovan Mitchell is just a guy, man. Spider goes out there and balls, and the atmosphere should be good. It'll be a competitive atmosphere. I look for Donovan Mitchell to go out there and ball. Been very productive throughout his career so far, so I don't expect anything to change in that regard. He is their franchise player as of this moment, so Donovan Mitchell is my go-to guy here on the Jazz. Aside from him, Rudy Gobert is someone I would consider. He's coming off of a beating against Zion, so look for Monsieur Rudy Gobert to really pick up the slack here, because his mother is watching. Your mother is watching, so he doesn't wanna cry and let his mom down. So Rudy Gobert is in play for me, man. It's gonna make it tough for Dwayne Dedmon and Marvin Bagley. But if any of these guys aren't playing, then Royce O'Neal is someone I definitely consider in GPPs. In limited minutes, he could go off. PPM, points per minute monster. This guy, hell, even point per minute monster. This guy is just really, really good. Mike Conley, I'm not too high on because Mike Conley does Mike Conley things. It's not enough for me, man. There's other guys I could go with that'd be way more upside than Mike Conley. Mike Conley's still going to try and get himself integrated into this team. If that means passing the ball more and shooting less, then that's exactly what he's going to do. He's not a guy that's fussy or demanding. He's just going to go there and do what's needed for the team to win. And if that's not him not shooting the ball or scoring, then that's exactly what he's going to do. The Denver Nuggets. I expect the Denver Nuggets to get an increase in minutes to all of their starters. That means Jokic and Murray are in play for me here. Gary Harris, too, is in play. He's coming off of a duddy game, but Gary Harris is known for that. He puts up duds, and then all of a sudden he goes off. But in all honesty, these guys take turns putting up dud games. There's just too many mouths to feed on this Nuggets team. But Jokic and Murray would be my safer plays here and favorable plays. Millsap, I'm not really too high on. I don't think he sees that many minutes to start with, and especially with Jeremy Grant on the team now, who's going to be the starting power forward of the future. Not this season, but maybe towards the end of the season or next year for sure. He's going to replace Millsap in this lineup. Millsap's just getting old. He's a lot more experienced, but Jeremy Grant's a better defender, way more athletic, better shooter. He's someone that's going to see more run as the season progresses, and he's someone that should see more run tonight. Knowing Paul Millsap's injury history, they're going to want to give Jeremy Grant some integrated minutes with the first team, the full first team, in a full match environment. So I look for Jeremy Grant to see a little bit more minutes here, but he's by no stretch of the imagination one of my favorable plays tonight. I'd much rather just go with Gary Harris if for that matter, or Malik Beasley for that matter. Malik Beasley is someone that always slept on this team, but someone that just goes out there and performs when he's given the minutes. So in all honesty, Jokic, Murray, Gary Harris, I'm iffy on. I'm expecting him to bounce back tonight. Usually this is the game where all the fourth and fifth options, like, it's my turn now. But Gary Harris is a good player. He was a top 40 fantasy player 2 years ago. So he's just on a very stacked and deep team. So he can easily go off. It's not an every game thing, but every 3 or 4 games he's in line to go off. He's in line to go off today. The minutes are going to be there. The matchup is there. He's someone I like. The Phoenix Suns. Devin Booker I like. I'm really high on Devin Booker. Aside from Devin Booker, Dario Saric's price should be up now. I'm still okay with going with Dario Saric here because he's a streaky shooter. If he gets hot, he gets hot. Kaminsky I'm not going to be really high on today because all the starters should be playing, especially DeAndre Ayton. So that should take away from the minutes Kaminsky saw, the increase at least. He's still going to see around 20-25 minutes. He's someone I'd consider because he just goes out there and he showed last game that he has a lot to offer this shitty Suns team. He's actually one of their better players and one of their best players coming off the bench. So he's someone that I'd have in my consideration. Tyler Johnson, while he's a very, very streaky shooter, I'm not going to be too high on him. He's very scoring dependent. Cameron Johnson now I'm not too high on. Now that the starters are back and they're getting more run and demanding the ball more, he's someone that I'm kind of less inclined to play. Kelly Oubre, if he's starting, I wouldn't mind playing him. Feisty guy, just goes out there and ball, and with some help this time, I mean, they single-handedly destroyed the Trailblazers. So now they got Booker and Ayton in there too, and Ricky Rubio. It's a me, Ricky Rubio, Mr. Steal Your Girl. Yeah, I like that. Kelly Oubre, Booker, Saric, all these guys are in play. Sorry, guys. I'm actually re-recording this whole video because my microphone wasn't plugged in. Like, it unplugged itself halfway through the video, and I didn't know when, so I was like, fuck it. Just re-recording it. So, yeah. Kaminsky, I'm not too high on. Cameron Johnson, not too high on. Tyler Johnson, not too high on. Kelly Oubre, Booker, DeAndre Ayton's what I'd go with. But DeAndre Ayton's matchup with Gobert is pretty tough here. I don't think Gobert's going to make it too easy on him, especially after Zion just did Zion things to him, you know. Gobert's in a bad mood. He's going to want to put the honor back into his family name. It's a French thing to do, man. Put the honor on your family's name. Your DeAndre Ayton's probably a safe play, though, because he's going to be getting minutes. Former number 1 round pick in the draft. Former number 1 pick, DeAndre Ayton. Someone that's been really disrespected so far. Luka and Trey just stole the show last year, but this guy was a quiet, productive guy. Like, what did you expect from a center? Exactly what you expected. You got more than what you expected. You got an agile, mobile guy, athletic, strong, rebounds, scores efficiently, and doesn't talk that much, doesn't whine, doesn't cry. I really like DeAndre Ayton. I'm a fan of this kid. I expect him to get more coverage this year. People are really going to start to notice him. He plays for the shitty Suns. No one cares about the Suns. But like Booker, Ayton's going to get some more plaudits here. So on the Suns, Booker, Ayton are my top guys. Kelly Oubre, I'll give some thought to. Mikal Bridges and Saric as well. I expect the starters here to see more minutes too. So, and then the Golden Chris Warriors. I messed up here. I should have probably changed it since I was re-recording it, but this is the Lakers, guys. Don't look at that. But the Golden State Warriors, I'm really, really high on Steph Curry and Draymond Green. 2 guys I'd highly consider. And then depending on who's starting between Marquise Chris and Omari Spellman, I'd go with the guy starting. Both of these guys are guys that could perform when they're given enough minutes. And Marquise Chris did well enough last game with the minutes he received. And Omari Spellman did well enough the first game with the minutes he received. Omari Spellman should be finishing the game, so that's always good. You have a guy finishing the game, so if you're staying up late watching your lineup, sweating, like, oh my god, all the stars are benched now, and the guys underneath me have some of these no-name bums that are going off, you get scared. So he's one guy that might help you in that department. Aside from that, Jordan Poole, I really, really like. Steve Kerr recently went out of his way to say that Jordan Poole reminds him of a young Klay Thompson, which is high praise in my opinion. So Jordan play is definitely in play for me. GPP play. He's not scared to shoot the basketball. He's gonna go out there and shoot the basketball. He's done that both games. He's a high volume, efficient scorer. It seems like in these 2 games. So if he plays with the same amount of tempo and pace, he's gonna be in line for a good productive night. But Steph Curry, Draymond Green are my top 2 guys on the Warriors. D'Angelo Russell would be the third, and then Marquise Chris and Omari Spellman, whoever's starting, I'd go with there. On the Lakers, oh my God, it's already starting. Anthony Davis is injured. MRI is probably not gonna play. Blah 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 blah. So just get used to it, boys and girls. On the Lakers, if you're a Lakers fan, this is the Anthony Davis show. This is what he does. He's a big baby. Yeah, on the Lakers, it's kind of tough because we don't know how many minutes LeBron is going to get. So definitely keep an eye on the news in that regards. If any news about LeBron being restricted, I don't like him. But if LeBron's going to see 20-25 minutes, I love him. I will 100% play LeBron. And then aside from LeBron, I'm looking for Avery Bradley and Rondo to get extended run here to see how they're matching up with Steph Curry and see if they can slow him down. First game was good. Steph Curry didn't go too off in that first game, but the Warriors in general were playing horrible. D'Angelo Russell was a ghost. He was non-existent that game. Look for them to pick it up here, but also look for the Lakers coaching staff to see how they match up and see if they could do anything to stop them. Of course, they have Danny Green, who was guarding Steph Curry in the playoffs last year as well, so he could see a little bit of increased run here. But honestly, the minutes here are all over the place for the Lakers. They're still trying to figure out their starting five and their bench. So, with all things considered, LeBron James would probably be my favorite play. McGee would be my second favorite play if Anthony Davis isn't playing. But yeah, then aside from that, Alex Caruso can go off. Avery Bradley's due for a good game. He's had 2 stinkers. The last game was decent, so if he continues that same momentum, then Avery Bradley's definitely in play for me. Danny Green's not in play for me. I don't like Danny Green, man. He's too scoring dependent. He's just a 3-and-D guy, and if he's not making his threes, then fuck. JaVale McGee saw barely any minutes here, but it was against the Nets, and they didn't play LeBron and Anthony Davis. They gave more minutes to the randoms, so expect McGee and Howard to pick up the minutes here too. Expect the starters in general to pick up minutes here too. So that's it for my presentation, guys. Now let's go over to DraftKings. We're